All right, all right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the updated developer process video put on here by GenCom. My name is Neil Patel, co-founder of GenCom here with Corey Call, and in this video, I'm going to outline for you guys the general processes of how to create a letter of intent. Just note in this video, I will not be going in depth on any specific aspect, but more just to give you an overview of how exactly we go about developing the LOI, what tools we have to use, what the steps are, and give you a broad overview of what you need to do. So with that, a couple of things to note, before we get started. This video is presuming that you have already received an electric bill, and when you observe the enact video, you'll get an in-depth look at what the CRM will look like and what the notification process will be there. So when you receive a leader, when you come to your developer portal, here in Enact, you will have an email and a login to enter Enact. You go in. Once your portal loads, you'll come to this home page. And by the way, just to save you guys time, I would all recommend that you just at least 1.5 or 2 times to save you time. And if there are parts you listen to, you can play back. It's a little tip I've learned from videos in the past to save a lot of time. So once you log into your Enact dashboard, list of leads here. And so this is kind of your home page. Again, in actually go into what this means. For this video, go into projects. Under projects of, well, projects. I'm going to quickly show you how to generate an LOI for this lead. So this is the name of the customer. This is what you will receive. This is what you will see when you open the lead. This will be your first point of contact with the GenCom system. The contact information, again, you'll see the in-depths of this in the Enact video. But what you're going to want to do when you're generating the LOI is you're going to want to pull out the electric bills. And so instead of pulling them out, I've actually already pulled them out here. So here's an example of the bill. And in the energy tool-based video, we've shown you a little bit about how to read. So this is the one of the 12 bills that you'll need. You'll need a year's worth of electric bills to do an analysis. So once you have the analysis, first step is you're going to come to energy toolbase. Here is our use to do the analysis on the projects to see if they're viable. Oh, geez. Technology loves to be slow on days you want it to be fast, right? All right. So when you go to the Energy Toolbase video, you'll see how to utilize Energy Toolbase. But here's the name of the client here that I've already uploaded into Energy Toolbase. The key here you need to know is I've already done my energy user profile. Again, if this is your first video and you're confused, just watch the other videos and you'll see how this works. But quickly to show you what you're going to do is you're going to take the 12 months of bills and you're going to create an energy use profile. And each project is going to have a different makeup of what this looks like. Some projects might have multiple meters. If you don't know what that means, that's okay. You will learn. It just basically means they have different sources of electricity or different meters, different avenues that fill in, their electrical consumption. And sometimes you need to fill that in, one by one. But this is a very straightforward project. So you look at the bill, you fill in the relevant information here. So I know their utility is this. The first bills that I have are from this date. This is the key one here, is you want to get the rate schedule right. Again, in the electric energy tool-based video, you'll see that. And I went ahead and I filled in all this relevant information. So what you need to do and why you need the bills is you need to fill in the total kilowatt hours used over the year, month per month, as well as the demand charge. And once you have filled that in, you get these numbers all here. You click save, and you've completed the first half of the first part of developing an LOI, which is putting that into Energy Toolbase. Now, the second thing you need to do then is you need to go to proposals. You'll create a proposal. And really here, the key is once you've done your Energy Toolbase and filled in the numbers, you can actually just go ahead and skip all the way to the solar PV aspect here. The reason why you want the solar PV aspect is so you can ways to see how much solar you can put. So once you fill in the Energy Toolbase and you come to the proposal here, you'll see all these numbers here. The two big ones are, the estimated project cost, which is going to be different because we don't exactly know the sizing at this point, but it does take the sum of these two projects I've done here. But what you need to focus on is this number right here. Sorry, the the blended rate. So this is what we want right here, 0.074. That's the key number. Remember where that is. It's under blended rates. That's why we use Energy Toolbase, is to get this number. But now there's the next step. So once you have the blended rate from Energy Toolbase, we have to go and figure out, well, how much solar can we actually fit? So we know that they need 941 kilowatts. We know that we would need to put on that much solar or generate that many kilowatt hours over a year for a pure offset. And oftentimes with the projects, we can't fit 100% of their need. So we need to figure out how we're going to do that. And that's where the next tool comes in. So we use Helioscope. Separate Helioscope video that walks you through step by step how we use Helioscope. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that in this video. So here's the same property to give you an illustration of what this looks like. Helioscope. And there's subsequent areas. So here I've laid out the two on as much as I can. And if I zoom out here, there is room for carports, for example, right here, and maybe some along here. And so there's a little bit more solar I could add to this whole project. Now, for this project, just if you guys are wondering why I haven't done this building, these are actually two separate properties, even though it seems like it's all one. So the key, though, here is I can fit 251.6 kilowatts on this property. So what that means is I can do one of two things. Once I have that 251, I know that I can fit 251 kilowatts on the property, and I'm going to want to put that in Energy Toolbase for the simple reason that I then get this number, the kWh, and I understand the numbers aren't completely to scale. That's okay. Point is for you to understand how it all works. So what you're going to do is once you get this helioscope number, 251.6. You're going to go add a PV array. And if you come to this default page, just click on edit. You see you get, so option one, or option here is helioscope. The other one's NREL, and I'll quickly walk you through NREL shortly here. But if you click on helioscope, I click on helioscope. If you have other arrays there, it will ask you to remove all of those. Click cancel, because here's actually the easier way to do it. And this is what we recommend is instead of using helioscope and plugging it right into Energy Toolbase, I see that I need 251.6 kilowatts. So rather than doing that, I actually just click on an NREL calculator. Now, for those of you who don't know what NREL is PV watts. It's the USA's National Solar Radiation Database, and it calculates how much kilowatt hours solar systems will produce in different geographies across the US. So quickly here, I know that if I wanted to get started, I type in the area that I'm working in. So I know I'm working in the city of Doral, which is in Florida. Take me to this place right here. 3 miles, rather. That's not too far. It gives you a general overview of what it is. Now, this is why we needed the helioscope. If you could imagine, if you were just to use PV watts to guess how much solar we could fit here, there's no way we would know, because you would need to lay it out to figure out what you actually can figure out. So now that we know the number, we can simply type in the number, right? So 256. Module type standard, this is all fine. Last thing you might want to do is just change this from residential to commercial, although it won't really matter for us too much. On the next button. And so this is the actual amount of solar that we can, amount of energy rather, kilowatt hours we can produce per year, which now I can take that number into Energy Toolbase. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to create your PV system here. So you're going to go add a PV array. You click on the recommended area. And so right here is where you're going to put the size of the system. We were able to put here in helioscope 251.6. You can make sure this is all relevant. Like when we go to the helioscope video, we'll tell you what these different parts mean so you can change it accordingly. And then you click on the optimizer. and click save. So you can see here, it's getting a PV watch, which is right here. You see 251.6. Now, of course, I have 3 systems here. Go ahead and delete those. So now we're just left with the one system, the 251.6 system. And as you can see, this is what it looks like. So sometimes Energy Toolbase doesn't entirely update right away. But the key here is now that you have it in the system, you know the 3 pieces of information that we need to do our analysis. We have the size of the kilowatt system here, that comes from Helioscope. We have the kilowatt hours, which comes here from PV watts. And we have the blended rate, which comes here from Energy Toolbase. And so that's why we need to use all 3 of these tools. And just for your guys' knowledge, the reason why we do it this way is each one of these tools getting the pieces of information that we require from them. You know, as you can see, the Energy Toolbase hasn't completely updated on the kilowatt hours, and it is known to be a little more, in our opinion, inaccurate on this, the kilowatt hour section compared to PV watts. But again, the problem with PV watts is we don't know exactly how big of a system we need. So we use Helioscope to figure out the exact number, plug that into PV watts. So we have the kilowatt hours, and then the from doing the energy analysis and Energy Toolbase. So that's the summary there. So with those 3 pieces of data, we now go to the financial spreadsheet. And so this financial spreadsheet, or not this project is actually viable. And we do have a section in detail about how to utilize this sheet. So I'm just going to give you a very surface overview of what the sheet looks like, how to use it, kind of the areas to keep in mind when you're doing the analysis. Okay. So once the sheet loads, and just skip forward on this video until you see me moving my cursor. Okay, welcome back if you have been patiently waiting. So just a quick update. We have the three numbers from Energy Toolbase, helioscope, and PV watts, which are the blended rate, the total kilowatts we can fit on the property, and the kilowatt hours. So what we'll do is we'll put in the blended rate from Energy Toolbase, which can be found here. Utility cost 0.074. So that is currently what they're paying in total for their system.